Well, sir and madam and all you kids out there.
Get on with it, blabbermouth.
All right, all right. Well, through a quirk of fate, Bullwinkle painted a coat of whitewash over 10 stolen art masterpieces, and now Boris is secretly trying to buy them back.
What I can't understand is why he thinks these are worth anything.
Oh, I don't know, Rock. They do have a kind of dash to them.
They're just whitewash.
But notice how I left this little dark spot to kind of catch the eye.
Bullwinkle, that's a fly.
Oh, looks almost real, doesn't it?
Well, we'll know whether they're valuable in a little while now.
How come?
I sent for some art experts.
Sure enough, in just a few minutes, a caravan of cars began to pour into Frostbite Falls, bearing the cream of the nation's art connoisseurs, including the Dean of Art Critics, Price McVincent.
Very well. Where are these alleged paintings?
Oh, get 'em for you.
Boris, suppose those art critics find out what's under that whitewash.
Maybe I better raise my last offer.
Well, here they are, Mr.
My enemies call me Mr. McVincent.
What do your friends call you?
What friends?
Yeah, see what you mean.
Well, what do you think of this one?
This is absolutely and without a doubt the most dreadful, nauseating, ugly,
I'll pay $10,000 for it.
the most ugly frame I can imagine for such an exquisite picture.
You think it's exquisite?
My dear boy, any painting worth $10,000 is exquisite.
I say, Ernest, who's the chap who bid 10,000?
Speaks with an accent, probably from the Middle East.
You mean he may be representing King,
Well, the king just can't go on collecting dancing girls. There's a bag limit, you know.
Well, if it's worth 10,000 to him, it's worth 15,000 to me. I bid 15,000.
Yeah, but wait a minute. These are just whitewash.
The medium doesn't matter, short and furry. It's the soul of the artist. What do you call this, my good man?
Moose.
Moose?
I call this one White Cow Eating Marshmallows in Snowstorm.
It fairly sings, doesn't it?
Boris, they are going crazy. 15,000 for a coat of whitewash.
You know something? It is kind of pretty at that, Natasha.
You too.
You think I don't appreciate beautiful things? 20,000.
Now hold on there. This is getting out of hand.
Let it go! Let it go!
I don't think we ought to sell any of these till we've had a chance to think things over.
The squirrel is right. We really should think things over.
We
agree. I bid 25,000.
30.
40.
Well, that did it. Within hours, the news of an astounding new find in the art world flashed across the continent.
The most titillating new talent since Frank Giacomelli.
Looks like a moose, paints like an angel.
Collector's bid, Moose says nix.
Extreme! Moose starts art school! Well, Boris, you have done it again. You have made the moose famous.
But not for long.
Boris, you got a plan?
Of course. And who, boy, is it ever fiendish?
And so the next time Bullwinkle left the house, he was accosted by a strange little boy.
Please, Mr. Moose, could I having your autograph?
Of course, little fella.
Thanks, oodles.
Name is Bullwinkle. Sweet kid. Cute mustache, too. Mustache!
And that wasn't all, for Bullwinkle had just signed a will, leaving all of his paintings to Boris.
So when he dies,
Which could happen any minute now.
we get the old masters. Oh, that's my Boris.
Please, you're crushing my curl.
Well, will the sinister document mean the end of our hero? And if so, what will happen to the Bullwinkle show?
I get that, too.
Be sure to be with us next time for Boris Badenoff Presents, or the 20-inch Scream.
Pogo stick get out of control, did it, Junior?
No, it's Romulus and Remus beating me up again.
But they're only 3 years old.
Yeah, but there's 2 of them and only 1 of me. And 1 of them I could handle, but they always gang up on me.
Well, it's like I always say, birds of a feather flock together.
But Romulus and Remus aren't birds. They're little devils.
But they do flock together, and that brings us to the fable called The Chicken and the Ducks. We all know the ducks fly south for the winter, but what about the chicken? If he's in the north, he stays north, freezing in a cold old coop.
Now I know what Admiral Byrd must have felt like.
You think you got it bad, hon? You ought to sit on these cold eggs.
Well, I've had it. Next year, I'm going to join up with the Ducks and fly to Miami.
And sure enough, when winter rolled around the following year, the ringneck mallards had a ringer in the ranks.
Hey, Murdoch, what kind of a duck is that flying next to you?
I don't know. I'll ask him. Hey, Jack, you a canvasback?
No.
A teal?
No. Ask me if I'm a Rhode Island Red.
Okay. You a Rhode Island Red?
No, but thanks for asking.
It's true, he was a Plymouth Rock. A week or so later, the migrating flock reached Florida and quickly came to roost on the shores of Miami Bay. That's when an emergency meeting of the exclusive Duck Club was held.
Murdoch says we got a chicken amongst us, and this is a club for ducks. He's got to go. All in favor say quack. Quack, 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 quack. Murdoch, throw him out.
Ah, but that chicken was not chicken.
Ducks, we'll have no more of that. I'm a bird, and I've got just as much right here as the rest of you birds.
It was then that Murdoch and Feeney, who had been bosom pals since egghood, made a solemn vow.
And we shall join forces
And together never rest until that chick is chucked out.
So they sent away for a diabolical contraption called a rocket chair.
According to the instructions, all we got to do is get the chicken to sit in a chair, press button A, and he'll be launched into outer space. Here he comes now. Say, you look pretty tired.
Yeah, why don't you sit down?
Thank you, I will. Press button A. Well, I'll see you birds later. Something went wrong. Look, I'll sit in the chair and we'll find out why this thing went awry.
Okay. You comfy?
Yeah, okay. Press button A. Ow! Press button B!
We should have got one with a C button. Maybe a Wilkie button. What's with a toy chicken, Feeney?
I sent away for it.
The same place we got the rocket chair?
Now look, you watch what happens when I wind her up. Say, haven't we met before? Paris? Rome? Now watch this. See? He takes the fake chicken's hand, and suddenly, in her other hand appears a German Luger. She pulls the trigger and...
Maybe there are some buttons we gotta press, huh?
No. Look, here's the trouble. I forgot to put bullets in the gun. See what happens when I pull the trigger. Fellow ducks, Murdoch and I have not been able to rid the club of the chicken.
Yeah, we almost got rid of Feeney, but not the chicken.
So here's what we suggest. There are 69 of us and only one of him. So we each get a carving knife.
You can imagine the poor chicken's dismay at seeing the ducks coming at him armed to the teeth. Flight would do no good. Ducks are faster than chickens. Then suddenly he remembered something he saw a few minutes ago. An old barge had been towed into the bay, and a sign on its bow read, "For Navy Target Practice." Even at that very moment, a plane flew high above it and dropped a bomb.
Stop, you ducks, stop. I am a magic chicken. Don't listen to him. I am a magic chicken, and I can prove it.
So saying, he pulled a feather from his tail, held it aloft, and proclaimed in a loud chicken voice,
I hereby order that yonder barge sitting out in the bay be destroyed.
The barge blew up along with Feeney's and Murdoch's planes. The chicken was made an honorary duck, and as for Feeney and Murdoch, they spent the rest of the winter pulling out their tail feathers and making all kinds of crazy wishes, none of which came true.
That's some fable, Pop.
Yes, and you can see why I use the adage, birds of a feather flock together.
I'd say it a little differently.
How so?
Birds of a feather pluck together.
Go play with Romulus and Remus, son.
Last time we saw Bullwinkle, he had just set the art world on its ear with a series of paintings done in whitewash.
I call this one Vanilla Ice Cream Spilled on a White Sheet #2.
What Bullwinkle didn't know was that underneath 10 of his paintings were 10 old masters recently filched from a Paris art museum by,
Let me guess. Picasso J. Flom?
No.
Toulouse Lachnook?
No.
Then it must be Boris Badenov.
The man you love to hate.
You said it.
True, Boris was the culprit, but he didn't have the paintings. Instead, he had a will signed by Bullwinkle, which left the paintings to Boris if anything should happen to him.
And it just might.
All unaware of his danger, Bullwinkle was busy turning out more and more whitewash canvases.
What title do I put on this one?
Call it Man Eating a Sandwich in a White Room.
Well, I see the white room, but where's the sandwich?
The man ate it.
Then where's the man?
Well, you don't expect him to hang around after he ate the sandwich, do you?
No.
That's the trouble. You people never understand us artists.
Bullwinkle, why don't you use your head?
It's easier with a brush.
Meanwhile, the two villains had just planted several sticks of dynamite under the cottage and lit the feud.
You sure there's enough there, Boris?
Enough. Baby, when this stuff goes off, all we got left is 1 pair antlers and 200 pounds of moose burger.
But, Boris, if we blow up Moose, we blow up the paintings, too.
Good heavens!
Boris, you said heavens.
What can I do? They won't let me plug the competition.
Well, now what?
Easy. We just take the paintings before this stuff goes off. But we gotta be awful quick.
Dashing into the house, the pair quickly ran to Bullwinkle's studio.
Remember me, boys? Cerulean Blue, the world-famous art collector?
Sure, what can we do for you, Mr. Blue?
I've decided to raise my offer for the 10 paintings.
Well,
I now offer $25,000 apiece.
Wowee, as they say in the comics.
Only one thing.
yeah.
Could I take them outside and look at them in the light?
Why, of course. Which 10 paintings did you want?
Which 10?
Yeah, I just finished number 35. Composition with whipped cream and snowballs.
Yeah, but where's the first 10 you painted?
In the pile there somewhere.
Boris, the dynamite will blow up the old masters.
I know. Tell you what, I'll buy the whole bunch.
35 of them?
At 25 thou apiece?
Right. Only one thing. Let's take them outside and look at them in the light.
And within just a few seconds, everybody was outside the house with the paintings.
Phew, that was close. These old masters are worth millions.
Funny, I only count 34 paintings here.
What?
Boris, it's only one painting.
But that one might be the Mona Lisa. I'll get it.
Hokey smoke, what happened?
Maybe the pilot light went out on your stove, darling.
We don't have a pilot light.
No?
We don't have a stove either.
Well, there you see.
Not quite.
Mr. Blue, you all right?
Hey, I was wrong. There's 35 here after all.
Yeah, that's certainly a good joke on you.
And small wonder that Boris laughed, for somewhere in the pile of paintings he had bought were the 10 old masters worth millions of dollars.
And what's more, we're taking the next submarine back to Pennsylvania.
You don't mean... But you're the bad guy.
So?
Well, I'd have bet $1 million you wouldn't win.
Put up or shut up.
I'll shut up. But be with us for our next episode, Dollars to Donuts, or The Wonderful World of Cruller.
Oh, dear.
What's the trouble, Bullwinkle?
I can't get any newspapers to run stories about the fan club.
Why don't we publish our own newspaper, then?
That's it, Rock.
Did I hear newspaper? Permit me to introducing myself. William Randolph Hearst.
William Randolph Hearst?
That's my pen name. I used to write obituary column. Later, I won Pulitzer Prize.
I'll bet.
What do we name the paper?
How about the Bullwinkle and Rocky Fan Club Weekly Gazette and Star Express?
Well, that takes care of the front page.
He's right, Bullwinkle. Why don't we just call it the news?
That's catchy.
I didn't know you knew how to type, Bullwinkle.
Nothing to it.
Clee booty ferglers up, pretty eagle?
Of course, that's just the first draft.
Look, Chief, hot scoops. Mysterious bomber demolishes warehouse. Mad fiend burns old folks' home.
Express train derailed. Great reporting, Boris. When did these happen?
Any time now. I'm working on it. Rocky, Bullwinkle, I just got some ads for the paper.
Gee, that's great, Captain. How much money did you take in?
Take in? You mean they're supposed to pay us?
Well, staff, here's our first edition. Now, what are we going to do about circulation?
We could rub our hands together. That might help.
What we need is a good, hard-working, ambitious sales manager.
That sounds just like you, Bullwinkle.
Well,
All those in favor of making Bullwinkle sales manager, say aye.
Aye! This isn't exactly what I had in mind.
husky, a breed of dog with a sore throat. And here in the wilds of Canada, there were no huskies, only wolves.
What is that chilling sound, Dudley?
That, fair Nell, is the sound of the mockingbird.
But it wasn't a mockingbird that destroyed their picnic. Along with Dudley's trousers, it was the dreaded timber wolf. Incidentally, the one in the shorts with the yellow stripe down the side is our hero, Dudley Do-Right of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police.
Why did you do that, Nell?
Do what?
Destroy the picnic and my trousers.
It wasn't I, Dudley. It was a wolf.
You Canadian girls are never at a lack for an answer, are you?
Oh, Dudley.
The innocent little thing shedding teardrops is or was the light of Dudley's life, Nell Fenwick, daughter of Inspector Fenwick, commander of the Mounted Post.
Why did you arrest my daughter, Do-Right?
For destroying government property, sir.
You mean your trousers?
No, this picnic basket. I borrowed it from the PX.
Nell got 30 days, mostly because it was her second offense. That night, the Post slept soundly. Suddenly, about 1 in the morning...
Do-Right, what's making that noise?
I think it's a mockingbird, sir.
At this time of the night?
How about Nell?
No, she's still in her cell.
The howling went on until the wee hours of the morning. Inspector Fenwick ordered his command out on the parade ground.
All right, men, count off my numbers. 1, 2, 3. Well, Do-Right?
Well, what, sir?
Aren't you 4?
No, sir, I'm 26.
I don't want your age, Do-Right. You're 4th in line, therefore your number is 4. All right, chaps, we'll try it again. 1, 2, 3.
25. I won't be 26 till next week.
The inspector was about to order a court-martial when...
There goes Nell again.
It isn't Nell and it isn't mockingbirds. Those are wolves. Do-Right, get a rifle and go shoot them.
4.
You're too late. Get a rifle.
Those weren't ordinary wolves howling up in the hills. True, the majority were of the 4-footed species. But their leader was a wolf who got around on 2 feet. His name, Snidely Whiplash. His occupation, warmonger.
You there on the end, the one who used to sing with the 4 aces. You're supposed to come in on the downbeat of the 4th bar, not the 5th. All right, this time we'll give them the old oaken bucket from the top.
The game is up, Whiplash. Drop that baton.
Dudley Do-Right.
No false moves, Whiplash. This rifle is loaded.
Now, so are you, or else you wouldn't be holding it backwards.
Yes, Dudley had them covered with a rifle butt.
See him, wolves? He's a spy from Julia.
But luckily, a Mountie always carried the Mountie manual. And there on page 5, under Wolves How To, were the words...
Wolves, wolves, go away. Come again some other day.
Off they went into the wild blue yonder. Snidely Whiplash faced his enemy alone.
Not quite. Spot, come here, boy.
Out from behind the tree came the most vicious wolf Dudley had ever seen.
Where'd you get the Cocker Spaniel, Snidely?
From a sick friend. All right, Spot, you haven't eaten in 3 weeks. Now's the time to go off your diet.
There was no advice in the manual for Cocker Spaniels, so Dudley was forced to take flight. Dudley could run like the wind, but unfortunately there was no wind that day, and his pace slackened considerably. By this time, he and the wolf had made it to downtown Montreal. There up ahead was a neighborhood theater. Dudley ran inside for 2 reasons. He might elude the wolf, and he hadn't seen the picture. But wolves are tenacious, and this one caught up with our hero in the 4th row.
Oh, my, look, the greatest Mountie of them all.
There on the screen in colorful black and white was Ran Through of the Mounted and his faithful dog, Faithful Dog.
Well, Faithful Dog, thanks to you we captured Dirty Dan. What do you got to say to that, Faithful Dog?
The wolf stared into Dudley's eyes, Dudley stared into the wolf's, and from that moment on, their lives were fused. They would team up just like Ran Through and Faithful Dog. 2 days later, Dudley and his wolf escorted Whiplash through the gates of the post.
Magnificent job, Do-Right.
Oh, Dudley, you're swell.
Clap this rogue in irons, Inspector. Oh, and say hello to my new partner.
Good grief, a wolf.
No, sir, this is Faithful Dog.
If he's a dog, make him prove it.
Faithful Dog, bury a bone. Don't fret, Nell. We'll find your father. He must be buried somewhere around here.
Phyllis and Natasha had just bought 35 of Bullwinkle's whitewash paintings,
including the 10 with old masterpieces under the whitewash.
And now the villains are waiting for the next Pottsylvanian submarine to come up on the outskirts of Pigeon River.
There it is now, Boris.
That's one thing you can say about our fearless leader. He made the submarines run on time.
But Bullwinkle's brush and bucket was still busy night and day.
What is it, Bullwinkle?
That's obvious, Rock. It's Santa Claus arriving in a terrible blizzard.
I should have known.
Finally, even the Paris Museum, which had lost the 10 old masters, had to change its mind.
You mean we are going to replace them with modern paintings?
Marcel, we must move with the times.
Fui!
And besides, the moose gave them to us for nothing.
Ooh, they're beautiful.
And so 10 of Bullwinkle's paintings were hung in the spots vacated by the stolen old masters. Meanwhile, many miles away in the grim little country of Pottsylvania...
Ah, it's good to breathe the air of Pottsylvania, Natasha.
That pungent odor.
Yes, they must be burning books in the public square again. But we digress. We got to sell this $1 million bunch of old masters.
Who to, Boris?
Natasha, there's only one man in Pottsylvania who has money.
You mean our fearless leader?
Yes, that greedy, money-grabbing, penny-pinching...
Go on, Badenoff.
Thrifty, industrious, frugal, level-headed...
Enough!
Why, it's fearless leader!
Badenoff, you are a groveling bootlicker.
But I...
Fortunately for you, I like groveling bootlickers.
I'm glad.
What do you have there?
10 disguised old masters worth $2 million. But for you...
For me? Thank you, Badenoff.
Thank you. Thank you. That's what I get. Thank you.
Of course not. Thank you very much.
Oh, boy.
Now, what do you say?
You're welcome.
Not only that, but when Fearless Leader cleaned the whitewash off...
Schweinhund! These aren't old masters. These are plain canvas. Arrest him.
Darling, is there anything I can do?
Yes. Shut up, you mouth!
Meanwhile, back in Frostbite Falls...
But why didn't you give Mr. Blue the first 10 paintings?
Well, he was such a nice feller, I thought he'd like 10 brand new ones.
Well, what happened to the first one?
I gave them to that Paris museum.
And sure enough, when these paintings were cleaned...
Sacre bleu, the masterpieces are back again.
It's a wonder.
It's a miracle.
It's about time.
Well, it looked as if Bullwinkle really had it made as an artist until a terrible thing happened.
That's right, Mr. Moose. We're plumb out of whitewash.
Oh, dear. I need 4,000 gallons of it.
We'll have it in on Monday.
But that was too late, for over the weekend, another artist appeared on the scene to catch the eye of the art world.
This is Jackson Plop.
Yes, Jackson Plop, painted with a mixture of pablum and chicken gizzards.
Well, there's one thing I've got to say about this boy's work. It's got guts.
Gee, Rock, I can't sell a painting these days.
Yeah, and we're stuck with 4,000 gallons of whitewash. Wait a minute, where is all the whitewash?
I sold it.
Sold it? Who to?
To them fellers who investigate payola.
4,000 gallons of whitewash?
Believe me, to them it's only a drop in the bucket.
And so we reach another happy ending where... Oh, now, wait a minute. This isn't a happy ending.
Sure it is. Look, I'm smiling.
Oh, good. Okay. Happy ending.